All right. Good morning and happy Thursday. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being present. We are here with WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcast, #1 internet singles talk network with your health vibes with Elana. I'm your host, Elana of Your Health Vibes with Elana. And today, my journey is to raise your heart, body, and soul vibes to the next level so you can transform your life today. And so today, we have my beautiful friend, Deborah, not only a friend, my dot sister. We are doing empowering paths to wellness for chronic illness warriors. And you can find all of Deborah's information online, and we will be able to say it afterwards as well, to reach out because you will want to contact her after this. And so today, I just wanted to say thank you, Deborah, for being here. Thank you for showing up. I'm so excited for the world to see who you are and share your beautiful gifts with us today. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Elana. It's lovely to be here. Thank you ever so much for inviting me on. I'm excited.
I'm so excited for you to be here and share your story and share your experience, because I think so many people are dealing with chronic illness and don't know where to turn and don't know how to show up. And I'm just so happy that you get to be here to show up and share your story and help others out, just like in a journey of paths. So would you like to kind of start off and tell us a little bit of a journey of what kind of made you come to where you are at today?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, that really is my purpose in life now, is shining a light for people on that chronic illness journey, because I've been through it myself really my whole life. So I've lived in pain all my life. I was born with a condition that means I've always had pain. I've had multiple surgeries in my 20s and in my 30s. I had spinal surgery and I was doing okay, and I was dealing with all of that. And then when I was 40, I was bitten by a tick and contracted Lyme disease. And so that, brought a whole new world of difficulty and illness into my life. And it triggered an immunological condition called mast cell activation syndrome. And obviously Lyme and MCAS are quite poorly understood and poorly recognized, I think, in the States as well as here in the UK where I am. And so I became catastrophically ill really overnight in my 40s, and I lost everything. I lost my job. I couldn't really get out of bed. I couldn't function. I couldn't do a jigsaw for an 8-year-old. I really was totally incapacitated, sort of mentally and physically, really. And I didn't get a lot of help. I went to the doctors, and I think a lot of people listening who have chronic illness will appreciate this. It's complex. I had all sorts of weird and wonderful symptoms that didn't really make a lot of sense. And I kept going to the doctors and not getting very much help. And so I realized that I had to do it myself. I just had this light bulb moment where I realized that there was no answers forthcoming for me. And if I was going to get better, I'd got to do that myself and get myself well. So that kind of started me on a huge journey of discovery and learning. And with my poor foggy brain, I did the best I could to research and study. And I learned so much about health and well-being. I discovered mast cell activation syndrome and histamine issues, got myself the right help, started to improve, started treatment for Lyme, worked out, because Lyme is very complex to treat. There's no one answer for everyone. So I learned all I needed to do. And really, I remember thinking in my darkest hour, if I ever find the way out of this, I'm going to do something to help other people, because this is just awful. And so that's my passion now. I've retrained, and mindfulness really helped me, keeping myself in the right place, having the mental, of calmness, not going down the rabbit hole of, oh my goodness, what's happened to me? What if? So I did a lot of mindfulness with myself, and now I trained to teach mindfulness and trained to be a naturopathic health coach and support other people. That's kind of my journey now, is to help other people on their paths to wellness.
I love that so much. From the moment I met you, you have just such a beautiful soul and heart, and you can just tell how much you care and honor yourself, and you want to honor others and truly help. It's not about what you can get from them. It's how you can educate and how you can show up. And that is what is so beautiful. I think in this world, if we aren't our biggest advocate, then we can't, certain things we're just told, or it's, oh, it's in your head, or, oh, it's just a set, and the fact that you've been through this and how you can show up and still want to continue is such a blessing. And I'm just so proud and honored to know you and have our paths crossed, because as I said, you're one of the most beautiful souls that I've met, and to be and have gone through so much of what you've gone through, and you still want to fight, you still want to show up, is such a beautiful thing. And it's never, I hear from you, it's never been a poor me. So I don't know if you want to maybe expand on some more of everything that you went through to like some other things when you were at your darkest place. What made you not want to give up and fight for it, from hearing so many things? And exactly with, I think over here too, Lyme disease, it's not really talked about. And so many symptoms can come up from something like that. You find out these things. So I don't know if you have some other advice or things that why you started certain programs, which I'd love for you to talk about as well, to kind of show up in your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think on my journey, there were definitely times where I felt like giving up. I think, it is hard, but there was always, I believe really strongly in hope. I believe that there's always hope. And even on my darkest days, I kept telling myself there is hope, and this will end and I will get there. This too shall pass, as they say. That became my mantra really for many years. And I just kept getting through.
Yeah, that was my grandma's mantra. She always said, she called me Laners, this too shall pass. So I love that you said that. So sorry for cutting you off, but that was
exactly. I think it's really powerful though to remember that and to hold that perspective, because on those dark days, I did nearly give up, and there were times when I felt, quite desperate. But now I look back and I'm so grateful to myself that I didn't. I'm so grateful to myself that I showed up for myself and that I kept fighting, because I think the most important thing on any kind of wellness journey is to trust yourself. Mm-hmm. And that is kind of, what you need to do for yourself. We all have this innate wisdom within us, our body wisdom, and we're really disconnected from that. We're really kind of encouraged to disconnect from that. We're all up here, all thinking, working, the mind is king, but the body has so much wisdom. And on my own journey, I discovered that, I learned from listening to my body. And I discovered that I could find a path to wellness through, listening to my body and trusting my own gut instinct and trusting in myself. Like you said, I went to the doctors and, I heard that it's all in your head. Yeah. Many times people tried to tell me that, but I knew I had not gone mad. I knew that there was something wrong with me, and I knew that there had to be an answer. And I really encourage people to trust in themselves and in their own knowledge, and to keep seeking the answers. There are answers out there. There is help out there, but to keep looking, not give up. It might take 50, 60, 70 different specialists, and you think, oh, I can't keep doing this, and they're all telling me it's mad. I'm mad. But eventually you will find the answer, and it's different for everybody, but there will be an answer for you, and there will be a path to wellness for you. You just have to trust in yourself and your own wisdom, and also compassion. I know we've talked about this a lot, Elana, and self-compassion towards yourself in the difficult times. It is really hard, and holding on to that self-compassion, because we tend to, when we become poorly, we're so hard on ourselves. We're so cruel. Yeah, we're so cruel. That voice in our head that says, oh, you can't work, and, you're no use, and all of these awful things. And we speak to ourselves how we would never speak to anyone else. Yes. But when we turn that around and try and offer ourselves some compassion and some kindness and some, self-love, it really does help to support you through those dark and difficult times. So I think for me on my journey, that was a big learning for me, really, that helped me.
And I love that. So what are some of the things when you were in that dark spot that you did? Did you reach out to a friend, or, is there a support group, or, did this kind of lead you to some of the things that maybe you can talk about what you're doing to show up for? You offer so many great, programs and certain things that I don't think we get enough of. There's not enough of these. And in these support groups, being positive, I think sometimes in these things people want to complain and it's this, and, just having compassion and show up. And that's what I love about you, is having not only compassion, but the empathy that you have for others is such a beautiful, what a lot of people don't. They say, I know. You don't know until you know. And so, maybe you can explore some things with us and share some of the programs and stuff that really helped you with your journey and your path.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it isn't until you've been through it that you really understand and you can truly help people. And that's kind of where I want to go with this and why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I feel as though I've learned all of this stuff. I might as well help other people, because I think that's kind of my unique selling point, if you like, is that I have lived it. I have walked it. So I don't feel that you have any right to stand up in front of everybody and tell them what they should be doing unless you've done it yourself and you've walked that path.
You walk the walk so you can talk the talk.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, lots of things, particularly that helped me, that I've brought into my own work now. And the mindfulness I mentioned, that was really key for me. And I've now created my mindfulness for chronic illness program, which is a combination really of my own lived experience and what helped me with my own chronic illness journey, plus the mindfulness tools. So it's specifically tailored mindfulness for people with chronic illness and also pain. And it's based in science. It's based in the neuroscience and the studies. I'm a bit of a geek like that. I love all the evidence-based stuff. And it's amazing, the studies and the science that's out there that shows that, self-compassion work and mindfulness work literally changes not just our mental health, but our physical bodies as well, and how our bodies are working on a physical level. So I bring all of that into my courses and into my coaching with people. And I do one-to-one coaching. And the diet and lifestyle was another big kind of eye-opener for me, because I didn't know any of this stuff. When I was poorly, I was completely clueless. Before I got sick, I was not, doing the best for myself. I was eating microwave meals out of plastic packets. I was, eating the ice cream and all of the things, drinking the sodas. And I didn't know. But we all do. We all do this because it's so normalized in our culture. But normalized.
Yes,
we don't realize that we're actually damaging our bodies. And so when I became sick, and looking back now, I can see that, yes, I got bitten by a tick and I caught Lyme, and that's nobody's fault. But my body was not in the best place to fight that off. I hadn't been supporting my immune system. I hadn't been supporting my gut health. So I've learned all of these things through my own journey of how to repair my gut, how to repair my immune system, how to eat in the right way, how to change my diet. And that was really fundamental. A big piece for me in my recovery was understanding how I can support my own body. And I think when we become poorly, a big part of what I want to do at the title of this is empowering people,
because you definitely do empower.
Empowering people is so key, because when we become poorly, we feel so helpless and hopeless sometimes, and we feel like we don't have any control. The illness is happening to us. The doctors, maybe don't have the answers.
Like you play the martyr, and that's why I love you. Never play the martyr. And I just want to kind of go back to one of the things real fast that you said, not to cut you off, but I really loved that you did not blame anybody. You didn't blame the Lyme disease. You didn't do. And so many people play this blame game and then define them who you are. I'm defined by my Lyme. I'm defined by this. What I've loved from you from the beginning, you've never blamed anybody. You've always shown up for yourself. And that's one of the biggest things, I think, is you show up authentically online as you do offline, and you show up for who you are, and is so amazing. And that's what we need more of, is the authenticity and not the blame game. So I just wanted to honor you for that, of acknowledging that, it's not blaming someone, because the more we put this blame game, then we spiral out of that. So thank you for showing up and showing others that it's not who you're blaming. It's not defining you and with all this beautiful information. So just wanted to acknowledge you on that.
Oh, thank you. I think it is important because it's completely natural when terrible things happen to us and we're suffering with awful, awful symptoms. And, you know, Lyme disease is truly, truly awful. And all, you know, chronic illness and pain is truly awful. And we do feel terrible and sorry for ourselves and sad and miserable and anxious and depressed. It's natural. That's completely normal. And people shouldn't blame themselves for that or feel, you know, bad about that. But the danger there is that we spiral into a downward spiral. And because of the way our bodies and our neurochemistry and our biology works, the chemistry in our bodies that we're releasing, you know, when we start to feel stressed and we start to blame ourselves or beat ourselves up or think all those difficult thoughts, we're releasing adrenaline and cortisol into our body, which is very inflammatory and is going to provoke, you know, even more symptoms. And we can get stuck in this vicious cycle, which is a really cruel trick, I feel, that nature plays on us, is that it's natural that we feel that way, but by feeling that way we make things worse and we can end up stuck there, like you say, and you know, getting trapped in really difficult and negative emotions. And I think one of the other points that I found so important on my own healing journey is finding something that brings you joy. We have this kind of idea when we become poorly, and you know, I know a lot of people become suddenly ill with Lyme or long COVID now, or long haulers, as you call them. And, you know, any illness really that happens suddenly, we have this idea that one day when I'm better, I will do all the things, all the things that I want to do. And you put your life on hold, really. And we lose our sense of joy and our sense of fun and happiness in the moment. And it is so hard when you're poorly to kind of hold on to that and to find things to feel happy about. And people say, well, what have I got to be happy about? I'm suffering with Lyme disease or whatever. It's miserable. I've got all these awful symptoms. But there's a duality that I found eventually, and it was a long journey, but you can be poorly and feel awful and see something or feel something that brings you joy. And you can have joy as well as difficulty. In the difficulty, you can find joy. And by doing that, you're releasing good chemicals, which kind of counteract some of the bad chemicals and help you on a path to healing. I think feeling joy, having a sense of purpose, having something, even something really tiny. You know, on my very worst days, it was feeding the birds. I couldn't do anything else, but I dragged myself in my pajamas down in the garden and fed the birds. And I felt as though I had some meaning in my life, you know, as though I was doing something that had value. And it only needs to be a small thing, but it helps you, doesn't it?
Yeah. You're just so beautiful. Just the way you look at things, it just really touched my heart. And I'm so glad that you are sharing this point of showing up, of saying in the darkness, there is still joy just by feeding that, just the little thing, you know, it's like, we think we need to have these big things come up and do. And I really love the concept of the duality of light and dark holding together of that. And, you know, I love what you said, just by feeding a bird or, you know, even calling a friend, whatever it is still living in joy, because I feel what you said, we don't live in our joy. You know, we always wait or, you know, we work until we almost die. And then we don't even get what we've worked for. We work. And then it's like, it's time. And then you don't get to celebrate that. I love that you said, no matter what, you're celebrating that joy, showing up for yourself. And I feel like a lot of people don't do that. So thank you for sharing that beautiful little gem of, you know, of advice, of, you know, and educating people. That's what I love about you too, is that you educate people. You don't put it on them. You're educating them so that they see what is going on with all of that. And, you know, that's what I really love too, is the education part of how you're educating people so they know what is going on as well.
Yeah, that's kind of the bit that I love the most. Is it really excites me to do training and education. I've always loved doing that in all my jobs, and now I've turned my hand to training and educating people about this kind of thing. And I run courses that sort of, that's a big part really of what I do, is teach. I do a wellness essentials course, which is about nutrition and diet and lifestyle, all of those things that I didn't know, that I wish I'd known: how to look after your gut, how to support your immune system, how to eat properly and move in a way that's healthy. And I know movement is your thing, Elana. You love the movement, and you know, it's so hard. Yeah. When we become poorly, we feel that we've lost that, you know, we've been excluded from that because we can't hit the gym and we can't run on the treadmill. But there are ways that you can move, and so, you know, that are safe for you. And everybody needs to find the right path for them, the right combination of diet and lifestyle and movement and good sleep and all of those foundational things. And when we put that all together, you know, and that, I love teaching that on my course. It really lights me up to spread that information, because, as I say, I was clueless. I didn't know. And we're not taught these things. We're not taught. We're not given an operating manual for our bodies that says this is how you need to do it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so my parents quoted another Deborah and Rob. So my mom and dad say, mom and dad have gone through many journeys in the past 10 years. And my dad was fortunate that he had a fantastic support system, as well as knowing that all that has happened and dad is here to stay. So with support system and things like that, I think that's another kind of topic of, you know, what do you offer of that support system and what helped you through that? So thanks, mom and dad. I'm glad that you guys popped in. And then Cece said, such a great point, Elana. Education is the key. We can't begin to change our lives without awareness. Yes. So good, Cece. So true.
Absolutely. We can't change things until we're aware of them. So a lot of the coaching that I do is around that, is, you know, helping people to shine a light on the parts of their lives that maybe, you know, they could change, that would help them. And I'm not saying it's a magic wand, you know, it's, you know, do a bit of mindfulness or a bit of yoga and suddenly you'll be cured. And I know that, you know, yeah, eat broccoli and all will be well. It's not like that. But if you can shift a little bit of leverage and get 10% improvement of symptoms by removing some foods maybe, or doing a bit of movement that supports you, you know, 10% improvement in your health is amazing when you're really poorly. And I think what your dad was just saying there, the support network, having the right support. And I think, again, it's one of the cruel things that happens to people when they become poorly, is there's a lack of understanding. Maybe their friends and family don't understand, and people can lose their support network just at that moment when it becomes so crucial that they really desperately need the support. People do, you know, struggle. And so I think working with a health coach is a way to have that support, you know, someone in your corner. You need someone to, you know, to cheer you on and help you through the bad days. And a lot of what I do is listening to people and, you know, giving them that support and that empathy, and also, you know, having that a network as well, you know, of people that you can call on in difficulty. And people, you know, there's peer support groups, connecting with other people that have your condition, people who are, you know, in the chronic illness community. I think that is so key. And I know for me, I felt really isolated and really alone. And I was so lucky on my journey that my family and my friends stood by me. And, you know, they never said I'd gone crazy. They were like, oh, Lyme disease. Oh, okay, I'm good with that. Yep, that's fine. And, you know, they've stuck by me, and I am so eternally grateful to them for that. And I was so lucky to have that support network, but not everybody does. And so it's really important to find that community. And when I found the mast cell community in this country and the Lyme disease groups, you know, that really helped me enormously as well, just to know that you're not alone, that, you know, your symptoms are similar to what other people are experiencing, and it gives you that sense of connection. So I think support is a huge point that people need. And I would encourage anybody who's feeling lonely and isolated to reach out, because there is support out there. There are people, there are health coaches like myself, you know, who are working to support people.
Reach out to her, please. Everybody, reach out to Deborah. She is an amazing listener. The way she shows up, the way she puts herself out there, I highly recommend anybody going through this to definitely give her, you know, just a call.
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to talk about too, the hypnotherapy part of this. So that's something coming up. So I would love for you to share that again. I'm so excited to share it for you. I can't even get it out. So you can share on that. It's very interesting as well. So I would love for you to share.
So I've completely forgotten to mention that 10 years ago, I trained as a hypnotherapist. That was my first sort of foray into sort of health and wellness. And my interest there particularly is pain. That's why I trained, because I had pain and I'd always had pain. So I trained in hypnotherapy specifically for pain management, but also, bit of trauma and relaxation and all of those things. And I think people who have chronic illness, they do experience trauma. Having this situation is traumatic. If people haven't had trauma in their lives before, then the chronic illness journey in itself is very traumatizing. And people experience medical trauma, and it is a tough journey. So I bring the hypnotherapy to that as well, and it's such a powerful modality to help with pain, because pain is generated by the brain. And that's not to say that pain isn't real. All pain is generated by the brain. And so we can use the brain and use certain tools in the brain to modify the pain signals. And mindfulness, again, is amazing for that. There've been, studies where they show brain scans of people who are practicing mindfulness, and the areas of the brain that are to do with pain signaling are downregulated. And that is in hypnotherapy and in mindfulness. So that is a real kind of an interest of mine. I became fascinated really by the mind-body connection, and how what we do with our minds has a real impact physically on our bodies, but also vice versa. What's happening in our bodies affects our mind and our mental well-being as well. And so there's that two-way communication, the sort of the vagus nerve, and all of that, the kind of the nervous system. People get very dysregulated through chronic illness. The nervous system dysregulates. And so you can use these modalities. The hypnotherapy particularly, I feel, is powerful for feeding in safety. I'm a big believer in the healing state. And if we can put ourselves into a state of safety, which downregulates that limbic brain and turns off the fight and flight and switches on that rest and digest, we're in a healing state. It gives our bodies the chance to heal, our cells to work properly, our guts to work optimally, and all the good things that happen for us happen in that parasympathetic state. So we can use modalities like hypnotherapy to switch that on and to foster safety in the body, because we feel unsafe. It's natural, when we suffer with pain and illness, you lose that sense of safety in your body. So I work with people a lot to foster the sense of safety.
Which is even so more important. That that's another great topic that you say, because exactly what you said, we don't feel safe in our bodies. Then we're told so many things. And when we go to these doctors, we don't feel safe because they don't know what they're talking about half the time. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, all the doctors out there. I'm just kidding about that. But on the level of really showing up and feeling safe and not saying, oh, it's in your head, or it's what you said is you listen to someone. You don't try to, you hear where they're coming from and where they're at and where you can meet them. And I think so many times these doctors, these people, exactly, the mind, the body, the soul, we're all connected. The gut is connected to the mind, but we're not educated on that enough. And so I love with the hypnotherapy, more people should be educated on that, because I think it's such a great modality that we don't show up for. Or you think it's, you see more like, oh, hypnotherapy when you go to the fair, or, it's like different things of what it is. But to show up this and knowing it can really help someone, I think is such a great education tool that needs to be out there more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's such a shame that hypnosis has kind of gone into that entertainment field, and people the whole like a chicken on the stage, all of that kind of thing that people, and it's such a shame, because it's such a powerful modality, and our minds, being able to control our minds, has such a massive impact on us physically as well as mentally. So it's so huge to have those tools and to be able to use them for yourself to support you with your whole body wellness. And it's completely holistic. How I work is mind and body together. I don't think you can separate them. They're not separate. They don't consider themselves to be separate. It's only our strange medical system that has decided their head is not connected to the rest of the body. I don't know when that happened.
Next to that, that song that each
Exactly.
one, and I
That
agree
was
with you.
Absolutely, the head is connected to the body, and we can do so much with our body and minds when we work together, when we put them together, and as I said, we disconnect from that, but when we reconnect the body and the mind together and work with ourselves holistically, we can make so much difference. And I think with chronic illness, it's an opportunity. Sometimes it's never a good thing. It's always a terrible thing that happens to people, but there's an opportunity there to kind of step back and reflect and think, was I living in the best way? Like I said, I wasn't. I've learned. And was I, was the job that I was doing, was that supporting me? Was it fulfilling me? Is my relationship the right one? Am I living in the right place? Am I living in the right way? And you have that period almost like of hibernation. I thought of it as a hibernation. I thought, okay, I can't change this, so I'm going to just go into my little cocoon here. And I feel as though it's that kind of caterpillar analogy when you come out the other side, and sometimes that opportunity to pause and to reconnect with your mind and your body, you can then go forward from that in a better position than you were before. So that's kind of what I'm working towards with people.
I don't think you're doing. So that's what I love. You're not working, you're doing. And that's such a beautiful thing. You show up, you do what you say you're going to do. And, I agree. It's just finding these little things, showing up for yourself, putting yourself out there. And, what I really love is, as I said from the beginning of what you said, is not allowing this to define who you are. And from day one, you've always showed up as that. And I think that being in this chronic illness, as you said, it is hard. There's not as much help and these things. And then we go down these holes. But what's so neat about you is that you show up that way. You show up authentically and you show someone, this is not going to define you. And I'm not going to allow myself to do this. And you're showing up for what you have and the best that your form and to educate. So, which is what I feel like so many times people don't show up that way. So, and my dad says, excellent topic and great information.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think it's so important to not allow your illness to define you. It's got to, it doesn't need to take over your life. It's a part of your life, but you can, go on and live, maybe a different life. I think it's not necessarily the life that you imagined that you'd live, but it doesn't make it a bad life. And you can live.
Life's not over.
And absolutely not. No.
And what also I love is more the holistic, because I think so many times we listen to, the just Eastern medicine, no, not Western, to have the combination to the holistic. That's what I love is the naturopath. Like we need more of that to show up holistically, and more the nature, the more of the energy of what that is. So I love with that too, is the promotion of that. I think there definitely needs to be more of.
Yeah, nature is so healing. There is so much natural. Our bodies do know how to heal themselves, but we just need to support them to do that. And, nature is amazing for that.
Right. So we're going to have to wrap it up, but I just wanted to say I am so grateful for you to be here today. And is there anything else any programs, anything that you are offering that we can let the world know how to reach you, how to get what you're offering? I would just love for you to say it one more time, what you have going on.
Oh, thank you. So yes, I teach mindfulness for chronic illness. I'm just about to launch the next intake of my online mindfulness for chronic illness course. Yay. So if anyone wants to join that, then you can get in touch with me. My email is livewellwithchronicillness@outlook.com, and you can contact me through my website there, livewellwithchronicillness.co.uk, and also my wellness essentials course that's available as well. I'm taking a list for the next one of those. And if people want one-to-one support with me, if anybody is feeling, in a difficult place and they're struggling with their health and they're interested to know if there are changes that they can make in their diet or their lifestyle that can help them, then reach out to me. I'm really happy to have a chat. I offer a free 30-minute consultation to begin with, so you can see whether we're the right fit and whether I might be able to support you. So yeah, please please don't struggle and suffer alone. Reach out for some help.
Yes, you're not alone. Thank you guys for being here. I'm Elana with Your Health Vibes. You can join me bi-weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time, raising your vibration, heart, body, mind, and soul. You can reach me at ef11ca@gmail.com, and my number is 562-235-8410. You can also reach me on my website at yourhealthvibes.com. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being present. We are on this amazing new streaming network, WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network Radio, TV and podcast, #1 Internet Singles Talk Network. Once again, I'm your host, Elana, with Your Health Vibes with Elana. Thank you for being here. And if you need anything, you know, I'm only a phone call away. Bye for now. Love you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.